everyone, ErnieTech here. A while ago I had introduced a video which was about a game that I was creating, or let's just say some of the people here at ErnieTech Heavy Industries we were making. Not very heavy, it's just three of us. And the game was essentially to see if we couldn't get a proxy server using the Go3270 library that Racing Mars Matt had put together, the one that Moshix uses for the 3270 BBS so successfully. If we couldn't use that to figure out a way to create a MUD game, which is typically called a multi-user dungeon game. In this case here, it would be called a single-user dungeon game. If we could do something and access it through a 3270 emulator. Well, we were able to figure it out through a lot of fooling around, a lot of referral back to Matt's page, a lot of work to figure out where to put stuff in the screens, but we did it. But it was only a prototype. It was a test. It was a demo of sorts. Well, I wanted to go a little bit further. I wanted to give it sort of a name. I wanted to give it something that had a storyline. And this is what I came up with. Now, a while back, a couple of years ago, I was over in Berlin, and I like Berlin. Berlin's a neat place. Very complicated place as wandering around goes. But I was over on the eastern part of the ex-East Berlin GDR, DDR, German Democratic Republic. I won't even try to pronounce what the DDR stands for. But anyway, East Germany, as we often refer to it. And I thought, let me go over to the Stasi Museum. That's a wonderful place to see the history of what happened here. Cautionary tales, in other words. The way things were is going to be memorialized, so we hopefully never do it again. Okay, having said that, and trying to stay out of the political aspects of things, I thought it would be fun if we could create a situation where a player would access a data center, a small data center, in the basement of the Stasi, the secret police headquarters, over on Frankfurter Allee, which is a street which goes along the eastern part of Berlin, near the Magdalena Strasse underground station. I think it's the U5 or the U6 or whatever, and gain access to a tape, EC 1552. And that tape from their data center would be holding important names and financial trails of members of the Socialist Unity Party, called the SED. And in doing so, you grab these, you grab this, you get it out of the thing, you get in your car, your getaway car, and eventually you give it to pro-democratic journalists, and that will accelerate the fall of the Berlin Wall. Well, I don't know how accurate that is as far as an event, but I'm basing this on actual history that I have been studying diligently for a long time. All right, let's see how this works. So this is the premise. Okay, now before in the previous video, I showed you the layout of a series of rooms. And it was very straightforward. This is also straightforward, but a little more detailed and a little bit more in keeping with this particular storyline. And so what it is that you are a player, you are an operative of the Monday demonstrations, which were a series of peaceful demonstrations that occurred in East Germany and in Leipzig, and I think a lot of places, and that accelerated the downfall of the GDR. Well, anyway, you're an operative. You're someone who's operating in the secret. You're trying to gain information to help accelerate this process. And you know that if you can get inside this basement data center at the Stasi headquarters, the state security headquarters off of Frankfurter Allee in East Berlin, you can gain access to this particular tape that you want. This particular tape is the one that has all the goods that you hope will help accelerate the downfall of the regime. Anyhow, here it is. You are going to go in through a guard room, and in the guard room, you're going to have two things that you're going to need to continue your task. And one is a flashlight. Now, normally over there in Europe, because I'm over here on this side of the pond, we call it a flashlight. They call it a torch. But just for ease of reference, let's call it a flashlight. It's a torch. It's a flashlight. But there are two things that you're going to need to do to get this tape. You're going to need a flashlight so you can see inside the rooms, and you're going to need a security card so you can open the doors. And this is where it is a little different from the game that I made before. This is the improved improvements. Certain things must happen, or you cannot complete your task. In the previous game, it was just to see if it could be done, and there were no restrictions of where you could go or how you could do it. In this case here, there are some caveats. You have to be careful. Anyhow, the bottom line is that you walk in through the door, down the basement into the guard room. There is no guard. It's pretty much near the end. It's kind of been abandoned, or let's just say the guard is nowhere to be found. Things are still up and running, but they're not doing anything. But the tapes are sitting there waiting to be grabbed. You can't get into a room without a security card. And you can't see inside the room without the flashlight. If you were to go in the guard room and forget these two things, you couldn't get very far. You might be able to get into the rooms, but you can't look to see what's in there because you have no flashlight. If you could get into the rooms, well, you need to have the security card to get in to begin with. So that was the upgrade. That was the thing that I wanted to do. Put some logic in it that required you to do certain things to keep going. And this is the foot. This is the foot of the project. This is the base. It's going to be expanded as best I can over time into something that I hope is a lot of fun. Anyway, so here it is. You have a CPU room. I tried to be as accurate as possible. There's not a lot of information out there about mainframe computers in East Berlin. They were all based on Soviet designs. But the East Berlin people, or let's just say the GDR people, they had an entire industry. VEB Robotron was the name of the big one, that were trying to create computer systems that might compete with the West. Not so successfully, but they were still there. They still did things. Anyway, they created the ESSER series, the EC7640, for instance, of a mainframe. It looked a lot like the IBM 360, but did its own thing. You had smart terminals, I guess, VEB K8911 terminals. They kind of looked like K-Pros. They were boxy things. You had your DASDs, although I don't know they called it DASDs. You had your tape drives and you had your tapes. In each of these two main rooms, a CPU room and a terminal room, let me get this mouse over here. Terminal room, they both have closets to the north. Now, this is important because to maneuver your way through these rooms, you have to go in the cardinal directions of north, south, east, or west. So you come into the guard room, you have to go north. To go east or west, you have to decide on which way I'm going to go. If I want to go east into the terminal room, I need to have a card to open what would be a door here. And even if I got in, I still have to have a flashlight so I can see what I'm looking for. Same thing over here in the CPU room. But the important thing to remember is your goal is to find this one tape. And that would be over here in this closet. To find that tape, you would have to go in north, west, and north again with the flashlight to find the things and the key card to get you in. Anyway, and you can collect whatever's in the room. I'll show you how it works. And then the ultimate thing is you're supposed to get out of the thing before a guard comes back, if there is a guard, to your idling Gaz-24 Volga, which is sitting outside waiting to whisk you away, so that you can ultimately provide this tape to an interested pro-democracy journalist who can help accelerate the fall of the Berlin Wall. Sound far-fetched? I don't know. I think it sounds pretty cool. But anyway, that's what we came up with, and I hope you enjoy it. So let me crank her up. I have to do the start her up. Hang on. And here she goes. Here's a nice place to put it, and there she is. So I just started it up on my Hetzner VPS. It's nothing more than a little server that's running, and the server is running on port 2300. Will I leave it up and running? Probably not for a while, because I still want to play around here. Okay. The terminal thefts, bringing down the wall. I've kind of taken some inspiration from Moshik's and his stories, which are great. And so I wanted to use something that had a little bit of oomph behind it. I think this does the trick. The terminal thefts, bringing down the wall, type help for commands, PF3 exit. So we did implement the AID keys, at least one of them. Guard room, a small guard room with a desk and a dusty chair. The lights still work. So you're inside the guard room right now. This tells you where you are. You have two exits. You can go to the north into the corridor, or you can leave and go out. But before you can do anything inside the data center, you have to grab two things, and one of which is a flashlight and a card. So what you do is you issue a command, take flashlight. And it says, okay, taken. Now, I can say, now I haven't tried this because it's just been implemented, drop flashlight. All right, good, it worked. We implemented that because we wanted to add a little bit of, I don't know, extra features to this game. Let me just show you something here. So right now, if I type in inventory, I don't have anything. I had the flashlight, but then I dropped it. If I try to go north, it says you can go in the corridor, but you can't see anything. It's too dark. Why? Because I forgot my flashlight. So to do any movement, I'm going to need to say take flashlight. This is the premise of a mud game. A lot of typing. So okay, so now, oh, I know, I'm in the corridor. See, we have to go back down into the guard. So I have to go south. Now I'm in the guard room. Now I can say take flashlight, which I have. The important thing to remember, and I remind myself for that matter, is that you have to have a memory of where you are. You have to visualize this in your head. So I just went from the guard room into the corridor. I couldn't see anything in the corridor, and then forgetting I was in the corridor, I say take flashlight. Well, there's no flashlight in the corridor. I got to go back south, get the flashlight in the guard room, then go back up. Okay, where am I right now? I'm in the guard room. I know I'm going to need the card to get into the doors. So I say take card. Again, I can check my inventory. I've got my flashlight and my card. Where am I right now? I'm in the guard room. I want to go north into the corridor. So go north. Now, I can see inside the corridor now because I have the card. Unlike before when it said it was too dark to see, now it says corridor. It's a short corridor with badge readers on 2 heavy doors. Card readers is what I should have typed in there. Okay, which way do I want to go? Well, on the west is one room, should be the CPU room, and on the east is another room. Let's go east. Let's go east. Now I'm in the terminal room. Pair of K8911 terminals glow aimlessly. There's an operator's manual on the desk. UC manual. Now, I don't need the manual, but might be useful. So let's grab that. Take manual. Spell it right. Manual. All right, so now I have the manual. Again, in my inventory is the flashlight, the card, and the manual. The manual's not the goal of this. The tape is the goal. But the flashlight and the card is what I need to get around the rest of the data center. Now, I'm in the data center. I'm in the terminal room. I can go north, I believe. Go north. Well, now I'm in a closet, a narrow closet with spare parts and boxes of fan-fold paper. UC paper. Well, I don't need paper. I don't want paper because it's a lot to carry. Probably don't need the manual, but it's a small manual, so I'll take it and put it in my pocket or just in my jacket. But now I'm up inside the closet in the room to the east. I have to get back down to the corridor. So you have to remember how to do this now. So you have to go south. Now I'm back in the terminal room. It says there, exits west or north. The west exit takes you to the corridor. The north exit takes you to the closet. So I can get to the corridor by saying go west. Now I'm in the corridor. Back in the corridor again. Now if I want to go west again, I can say go west. Now it puts me into the CPU room, which is where I want to be. It says cooling fans, drone, tape storage closet is to the north. The only places I can go are back to the corridor on the east. That would not help me achieve my goal of getting that particular tape. Or I can go north, which is where the tape racks are stored. And I'm looking for a specific tape, 1550, EC1552 is what I want. So I can also look to see what's in there. So there's nothing that I can take in the CPU room. I can't carry the CPU out with me. I can't carry out a DASD or a tape drive. But I can go north. Now I'm in the CPU closet. And it tells me, here are 10 tapes. what do I want to pick up? Well, I can pick up any of them, I believe, but I really need EC1552. So I can say take EC1552. And it says, yep, that reel looks really important. But I see another one that I think might be important. I'm going to say take EC0002. And it says this tape looks like it might be important as well. So now I have 2 tapes. I can take all 10, but the bottom line is that I have to carry these things. They're in my inventory. Right now I have a flashlight, a card, a manual, and 2 tapes. Now, if this was too hard to carry, which one do I drop? I can say drop manual because I don't need it. Now if I do an inventory, I have the flashlight, the card, and the 2 tapes. I need the flashlight to see what I'm doing. I need the card to get access to any doors. But let's get out of here now. We've got our goal. We found the tape we were looking for. Our operatives said that EC1552 has the goods. But EC0002 looked inviting because of its serial number. Its volume number looked awfully interesting. And it said, yeah, that might be important as well. All right, where am I right now? Well, right now I am in the CPU room. So I think I can go east. It says, no, you can't go that way. That's because I'm in the closet of the CPU room. So I have to go south. Now I can go east. I'm in the CPU room. Go east. Now I'm in the corridor. Now I need to get out of here into my waiting Volga car. So I say go south. Now I'm in the guard room, but I don't need the flashlight anymore or the card. In fact, I want to make sure I don't have the card because if I get caught by the authorities, they certainly don't. I don't want to have that card on me because otherwise they'll know it was me in there. So I'm going to drop the card and look at my inventory. I have the flashlight and the 2 tapes. I'm going to keep the flashlight to get me out, and then I'm going to say go west to get out of the foyer that led to the guard room. And it says, look, you exfiltrate, mission complete, you exfiltrate into the gloom carrying tape EC1552, goal achieved. The target tape volume is secured in your pack. Press F3 to exit or type exit. F3, and it pops me out of there. That's it. That's what we created. I think it's pretty cool. All done using Go. All done using the Go 3270 library. And running on a WC3272 terminal emulator, the free one. And really easy stuff. I just think it's a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed it. That's what we're doing. I'm going to expand on this, a little more history, a little more detail, a little more stuff to grab, lots more intrigue. Okay, well, anyway, there we have it. Let me know what you think. Thanks for subscribing. If you have, please do if you haven't so far. And that's it for now. Catch you later.